Oh, hi there. How are you? Well, here we are once again. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of June, and we are live. And this time around, I'm going to try once again to remember to share out this show to the Tobias the Adequate page, as well as the Adequate Podcast page, because that way there's a better chance of people actually catching it on one of those. But yeah, it is Tuesday. It is the last week in June, and things have been happening. One of the things that's been happening is that I went and did some research and found some conventions that are relatively nearby where I live, here in an undisclosed location in San Antonio, Texas. And I have applied to them. I pitched to them. We will see if anything comes of it. We'll see. And when we find out, I will give that information to y'all, because, well, y'all watch me, so hey, why not? Oh, what else happened? Oh, very important thing has happened. Now, some of you may be familiar with this hat. This hat right here is the Tobias the Adequate straw hat I got well over 20 years ago. Almost 30, I think, from Wheat Goddess in Marin County, over at Black Point Forest, I think. It did not look like this when I got this hat, but I have worn it off and on in various places and in various venues, and this was the first hat that I wore as Tobias the Adequate doing the magic show. Yes, there's a little thing I got right here from one of the folks out there. It says, "I haven't seen you since the plague." I've been collecting a few charms and tokens on it during my visit to Scarborough this last year, Scarborough this last month. That was in May. And this hat has seen a lot. It has been rained on, it has been thrown, stepped on, squished, thrown more, because for some reason, throwing your hat at somebody is funny if it's a hat that will definitely not hurt anyone. But it's pretty much fallen apart. I don't know if you can see the detail here, but this hat has a career behind it, and it's very obvious. So, what we did is we found, thanks to Dreamy, who gave me this token over here, I was reminded of who made the hat way a long time ago. Wheat Goddesses. They're actually on the Facebook, and you can look them up. And they were still selling them. So this is what the hat looks like before all of the work is done. And to be completely frank, honest, the work that was done on this hat was that we were out at Sherwood Forest Fair. I was wearing the hat. It rained. And my lovely wife, Amy, took this hat in her hands and reblocked the wet straw. So, very close to what this is, only much less abused, this shall become. And because you never know when you're going to need another hat, we got spares. Because we're in a position to get spare hats. So, now you know that. I have exactly 3 songs in this 4-song set sorted out, but I think I may have the 4th one, which will actually come into 3rd position, which is probably confusing everyone, and that's okay. What we're going to do with it is we are going to try very hard to do the songs that are written down, and then when we get to the song that isn't written down, I'm going to see if y'all are interested or not. Now, we tune because we care. I am going to start off with a song about conventions and cons, because that's what I've been pitching to. Because one of the things that I was trying to do last year was do more work at conventions, do more shows. Indoors is nice. I like that idea. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen, really. And that's okay, because, well, it didn't happen because we had a plague. That happened. That's, that's what came about. So what we have instead is this show as such. So this song is about, I wrote this when I ran into a friend of mine I hadn't seen for a long time. And it's one of those things where, there are people that that if you talk to them and you don't see them forever, but the next time you see them, it's like they never actually left. You never actually left their presence. And the conversation starts right back up again. And that's why this song is called The 30-Year Conversation. Let me see if I can do it. We get together every year, and the reason that we do it may not seem too clear, but the words we say and the people we see make the world a better place. That's how it seems to me. I can't wait to see you again. I said I just can't wait now to see you again. For the 30-year conversation never ends. Yeah, the 30-year conversation. Months go by, we don't meet face to face, and the messages we send do not quite take the place of the gathering grounds of our happy little crew, and the ongoing banter between them, me and you. I can't wait to see you again. I said I just can't wait now to see you again. For the 30-year conversation never ends. Yeah, the 30-year conversation. We meet new friends and we drink to the old, and this party goes on and it's never gonna fold. For the things we have in common, yeah, we're always gonna try to keep the conversation going between them, you and I can't wait to see you again. I said I just can't wait now to see you again. For the 30-year conversation never ends. Yeah, the 30-year conversation. Some call it a party, some call it a con. I call it the plane we all are living on, where the things we have in common make connections, and we try to keep the conversation going between them, you and I can't wait to see you again. I said I just can't wait now to see you again. For the 30-year conversation never ends. Yeah, the 30-year conversation. I'll get there. We're building a community, we're building a crew, and when we get together, that's what we're gonna do to keep the chatter and the banter and the laughter and the tears again. Bonds that keep on building, getting stronger through the years. I can't wait to see you again. I said I just can't wait now to see you again. For the 30-year conversation never ends. Yeah, the 30-year conversation. One more. I can't wait to see you again. I said I just can't wait now to see you again. For the 30-year conversation never ends. Yeah, the 30-year conversation. A little rocky, but we got there. So yeah, conventions and cons and festivals and the like is what I'd like to do. Because here in, thank you, what I do like to do, because there's a lot that didn't get done and that was put on the back burner for the first 10 years we lived here. We are coming we have actually passed the 10-year anniversary of moving back here to Texas from where we lived in Oregon. And that's really amazing when you think about it. We're also coming up, we have passed Ariel's birthday, which means we're closing in on my birthday, which means that we will both once again be, I think, the same age. Pretty sure. And my wife has assured me that she will still need me and she will still feed me when I'm 54. Hey, Luxon, how are you? And as such, for any kind of celebratory thing of that nature, I think that calls for a toast. No, not Melba. No, I think we're going to do this one, which is one of the songs I learned literally at the knees of the Jolly Beggar. It's called ARKY'S Toast. It has no actual chorus, which is unusual, but that's a song. This is a song I didn't write, so this is a song I learned from somebody else. And it took me the longest darn time to figure out that this song was actually in my key, which is F. We'll drink to the downfall of tyrants. We'll drink to Christ the Lord. We'll drink to the 12 apostles who preach his holy word. We'll drink to the saints and martyrs in the dismal days of yore. And whenever our tankards are empty, we'll remember once more. And whenever our tankards are empty, we'll remember once more. We'll drink a health to the king, me boys. We'll drink a health to the queen. We'll drink to the royal princes wherever they are seen. There's one behind that tree. We'll drink to the dukes and duchesses and all their loyal men. And whenever our tankards are empty, we'll fill them up again. And whenever our tankards are empty, we'll fill them up again. We'll drink a health to the landlord of this glorious harvest feast. We'll raise our tankards high, me boys, to the strength of malt and yeast. Hooray, beer. We'll drink a health to the landlord and his ale so strong and fine. And we'll hope that he forgets my tab when it comes to closing time. And we'll hope that he forgets my tab when it comes to closing time. And now we'll drink to the ladies. Hi there. We'll drink to all their charms. We'll drink to the pleasures that we find when we are in there. This is a family show company. We'll hold them very tight, me boys, but we will make it absolutely and positively beyond a shadow of a doubt clear. It's goodbye on the day when they do say they will keep us from our beer. It's goodbye on the day when they do say they will keep us from our beer. Anyway, yes, Ragnar the Red. You know what? I'm going to have to look that one up. A startling number of the songs that I do are original, so that already starts us off on a really, really low bar to be set. Some of this is traditional, some of this is folk stuff, but I will go check out Ragnar the Red and see if I can add it to my, as they say, repertoire of songs. The third song, I'll be honest with you. I sat down and I said, I got to write me a show. I got to write me a program. I got to figure out what songs I'm going to do. For the milestone shows like show 250, I just winged it. Wung? It's like yeet. You can't conjugate it and sound like you know what you're talking about. Yeet, yote, yachten, yacht. I winged it. And that's easy, because then I just figuring I'll just play whatever seems like a good idea. But this one, I know what I'm going to do for the last song. I didn't know what I was going to do for this song, and I'll tell you what I want to do. Especially because Too Loud here has just paid me a great compliment about original songs. How would y'all like to hear a song that I have never done? I just barely previewed it for my Patreon peeps. I have a recorded version up on patreon.com/theadequate. But this will be the first live one. And you folks out there, you brave, silly people, will get to hear it first. And this is a song that I wrote partially because I wrote it backwards. I did. Usually when I write a song, I have words, and then I figure out a melody, and then I figure out the chords, and then I get like lost for a while, because usually when I start, I come up with an idea, and then I have to try to put the rest of the song in to fit the idea, right? This one, I did it backwards because I had the chords first, and then I had to figure out what I was going to do with it. And the problem with it is, I mean, you can hear this. It sounds pretty cool. And so I decided that I would just turn on the recorder and see what happens. You'll figure out the title in a minute, I'm sure. Enough intro. To the song. It was a day unlike any other. We were pinned down, surrounded, all out of options. Didn't know what to do. They looked at me. I figured it out. I got it. I had a realization. And in one moment, I knew exactly what I had to do. I got out my lucky dice to see me through. Lucky dice know what to do. I got out my lucky dice to save the day. They won't fall off the table or screw things up in any way. I got out my lucky dice. I've been saving them just such an occasion. There they were. On the table. Shiny. Pristine. I rubbed them a few times just to get the bad numbers out. They were waiting for me for that critical hit. Grabbed them in my hands, rolled them around, everybody watching. And I knew just what to do. I got out my lucky dice to save the day. Won't ever forget me, will not run away. I got out my lucky dice, give 'em a flick. They got my naturals, yeah, they'll do the trick. I got out my... It was silent. We all looked at him, staring. Doing the math in our heads. The M peered over the screen. I could read his lips, he was counting. Then he looked up at me. And he said, man, those dice suck. I don't like my lucky dice. They did not save the day. I scooped them up, opened the door, and then I threw them away. I threw out my lucky dice, so stupid. Piece of crap, I spent way too much money on them, but now everyone's gonna laugh. I threw out my... It's okay. It's okay. I got another character sheet. Right here. In my pocket. It's my backup character. Yeah. The stats rolled up real good. I like them. I feel positive. You know? You know why? I rolled with my lucky dice. Save the day. Won't ever forget me, won't let me feel betrayed. I got out my lucky dice and made a brand new shtick. I put a Roman numeral 2 after the name that ought to do the trick with my lucky dice. Yeah, I did. This ain't my original character, it's just his. Revenge Sworn Kid. The absurdity of what I do is not lost upon me. That is almost verbatim what I rambled into the microphone the first time I just riffed out this song. I took out some of the ums and stumbles and staggers because there's some words in there that need a little effort to get out. But yes, it is a tabletop RPG gamer nerd blues tune, which if that isn't a genre before, it is now. I would love to hear how you feel about it, those of you watching live and those of you watching on repeat, because I know I'm big in syndication. Please do leave me some comments, even if you're catching this after the performance is done, because one of the things I've discovered really playing D&D, gets 8, 12, 12, 12, 8, 12, 12, 11, 12, 15. The lucky dice, man, I tell you. That's actually based on a true story. We were playing a game at this house I was renting back in my college days, and my friend Chuck rolled a very abysmal roll on a D20, and my friend Chuck, who is an entirely rational human being, grabbed this little D20 in his big palm, stomped to the front door, threw the front door open, and said, "And stay out," and hurled it into the night, where it still is at this moment, either having been mulched by a lawnmower, picked up by a lucky bird, or it's still there, adversely affecting the roll of all die within a 3-mile radius. It's a true story. And now, my friends, we have come to the moment you've all been waiting for, the last song in today's show. You know, as I was saying, I play this stuff and I just pray that people like it, because it's hard to tell unless you're motivated to actually say something in the chat over here. So I hope you liked it. When I play live, having done that last month, I was reminded of just how funny some of my songs are, because people were there, right there, and I could see them laughing and nudging each other. The last song is one that was inspired by a comic strip known as Cat's Cafe, which can be found pretty much anywhere on the interwebs. It is an incredibly wholesome, very supportive, and absolutely wonderful little webcomic. And the author of same drew this right here. And I looked at it, and I thought, you know what? That requires a song. And for some reason, I was on kind of a 70s kick. This is about the same time that I wrote Cheesehenge and a couple of other doofy songs. And so this one is Kaiju Coffee, and it contains, this has been deemed surf punk by my friend Izzy, who should know about such things. I'm going to tune for this one because I just played the blues, and playing the blues vigorously immediately knocks everything out of tune, but it's okay because it's the blues. But when you're playing surf punk, you really don't need to tune either. But what the heck? Let's do this. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee helps them not fall asleep. From the depth of the sea to the city downtown, Kaiju gotta get up and start roaming around. But that decade-long slumber is real hard to shake off. What they need is a gallon of that bubbly black stuff. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee helps them not fall asleep. Just because you're a giant don't mean that you don't have needs. Sometimes some liquid ambition helps you perform great deeds. You gotta level the city first thing in the AM. You need a tank of that latte, get you going again. Kaiju, Kerchunka, Kaiju coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju, Kerchunka, Kaiju coffee, helps them not fall asleep. Giant robots eat you, and then a kaiju does too. You gotta have a big jolt from 10 gallons of brew. Kaiju cannot breathe fire if the stove isn't lit. Put down a macchiato, and that flame will not quit. Kaiju, Kerchunka, Kaiju coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju coffee, helps them not fall asleep. Kaiju, blackout pyro. I have no special effects budget, but if I was actually playing a concert, this would be where they hit the lights and all the pyro goes off, and people, yeah, and lighters and phones and stuff, and people throwing money on the stage. And now we have come, battered, bruised, with some interesting new scars on my fingers, but otherwise unbowed, to the conclusion, hopefully successful, of yet another Tobias the Adequate Troubadork non-commute pandemic coping mechanism show. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Once again, we do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday right now, just about every week, unless something changes from force majeure. As we get to the end of this month and to the beginning of next month, two very important things could happen. There could be another schedule shift because the day job, which has let me work from home, may be changing its mind. Thank you so much, Too Loud. This is what happens when you go to college until they tell you to stop. In the 90s. I'm old. I will continue to do this until such time as it makes sense. I am not able to do it. I've been doing it during what would normally be my commute home time during the day job if I was still working out there in the office. One day I'll be working out there in the office full-time as we return to, quote, normal. And then we'll shift over and do weekends, and I'll do hopefully conventions and cons and that sort of thing. And then y'all can actually encounter me in person if you are within safe, reasonable driving distance. Or if you're a millionaire, flying distance. And if you are a millionaire, let me tell you about the money I'd like to get from you. Because we do live in a capitalistic society, so I do have a couple of hats here. PayPal.me/theadequate and Venmo @theadequate is my electronic hat. I would like to thank Alicia, Eric, Robert, Rick, Emily, and Miranda for putting some bucks in the bucket. I would also like to thank my startlingly supportive and bewilderingly tolerant Patreon peeps at patreon.com/theadequate. That would be Jen, Joe, Alexi, Austin, Chris, Teppo, Shay, Linda, Ann, Stephen, Rob, Alicia, Relly, BK, Richard, Brian, and Lorene. I have to read that off of this screen because there's enough of them that I can't keep track. Those people are amazing. Any money that comes into the show through any of those venues goes towards making the show more technically sound. Right now, I'm running it off of a computer. I have a nifty boom mic I got from my podcast days, and a Logitech cam over here, and a little button thingy that I push to change all the scenes. That all comes from the generosity of my patrons. Performance-wise, it's me, so you get what you get. You find me on the interwebs darn near everywhere. I am at theadequate.com, literally theadequate.com for my website. I am at The Adequate on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Tobias The Adequate on TikTok and Tumblr. SoundCloud.com/Matthew-Laguerre for all my recorded stuff, which will also include the, quote, studio demo of Lucky Dice Blues. We'll go up there in about a week. It's still currently in the preview mode for my Patreon peeps. I wrote a book. It's called Artisanal Gibberish. It is published by Unruly Voices. This is volume 1. There's another volume that's going to come out in a little bit. This one has just come out recently, earlier last month, and is available online on most of the places where you can find it, and of course in ebook format at 99 cents, and you know in your hearts you have spent $1 on dumber things. You can find out where to get it all from unrulyvoices.com/product/artisanal-gibberish, and THUD Bucket is death metal you can laugh at. You can find that on the interwebs under any streaming music service that has the word music on it, including Spotify. THUD Bucket is also available on Facebook, and we do have 4 videos. We may have more, may not. It's amazing what desperate men will do given the opportunity. And that, my friends, is enough out of me. Thank you for hanging out with me once again. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Be safe. Be kind. Be silly. Y'all watching this gives me a reason to do it. If y'all were not watching this, this would just be Vox Clamatia in Deserto, a voice crying into the wilderness, as opposed to Vox Clamatis in Dessert Cart, which is a grown man screaming into a sheet cake. And no one really wants to see that. Well, maybe they do, but I'm probably the wrong performer for it. Y'all have been wonderful. I have been Tobias the Adequate, and I thank you once again for encouraging my behavior. Take care of yourselves. See you next time.